Hey, what's up, guys? Can you hear me? I just want to make sure you can hear me. Very few people in here. I just wanted to talk about gold for a minute. I wanted to make sure everyone can hear me before we start, so we can talk about this monster gold for a minute. Can a few people in here hear me? Tova, what's going on? So I wanted to talk about gold just for a minute. You guys can see we made a huge move up on gold today. And now, Tova, I'll ask you to trust your analysis. Where is the next level now that we've kind of come up to this 1764 area? Where's the next logical area that if we bust through here, where's the next logical area we may get a push down from? If we break cleanly this area that we've kind of been dancing around all afternoon or all day, what is the next logical area that we may bounce from? I want to see if we can get some answers here. Where's the next logical area if we cleanly break 1764? And this is a 4-hour chart that I have up. Okay, yeah, we can definitely wait. Want to see what we all think with where the next logical area could be on this one. And if anybody else wants to venture a guess, they can venture a guess. I'm going to move obviously chart up to the 1 hour to the daily chart. And I want to see if we can pinpoint where possibly if we break above here, where possibly that next area could be, because this was a pretty significant area from back in November, as you can see right there, right? So where would the next logical area be based on the daily chart if we cleanly break this, which I believe we will, but where's the next logical area? 1798, okay, and that's based off what month and what chart are you looking at? Let's see if we can align what we're talking about here. Somewhere right in there, 1785 or 1798, maybe 1785 first and then 1798. It's probably that, or 1802 area is kind of I'm think I'm on the daily too. So ours might just be a little bit different, but that's okay. I'm gonna get rid of a bunch of these. Just get rid of this one though. Okay, now that we're coming up to this level here, obviously again at 1764, which was a level from December, it looks like, of 2020. It also was a level right there. If we break above that, then 1785 up here comes into play. That's from in February of this year, right there. And then this level right here at 1802 from around January. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? So always we're looking for our next major areas of support or resistance once these currencies or these pairs break the other ones, right? Because again, like we talk about all the time, and Tova, you know this because you're in the class, it doesn't mean it'll bounce off major support and resistance levels, but all we're doing is trading probabilities, and the highest probability is that these will bounce off of major support or resistance levels, right? So we have one right now. So what we want to see now is we want to see if it starts rejecting 1764 and we could possibly sell again, right? Or we want to see it break above, and then brings 1785 into play, and then it brings 1802 into play. There's a lot of talk, especially here in the United States. I read a couple articles today that inflation is starting to come into the markets. So if inflation starts coming into the markets, what does that do to gold usually when inflation comes into the market? What does gold Does gold usually go up or down when inflation rises? I mean, usually, right? We're in kind of weird times now, and maybe you can't really predict anything. But what does gold usually do during times of high inflation? What does gold usually do? usually goes up, right? Usually it goes up. Would everyone agree on that? People that are here, up, right? We I just read an article that we are $1.7 trillion budget deficit in the United States for this year. So we are going to spend $1.7 trillion more than what we took in. So all we're doing is we're printing money, and the price of goods are going up. Everything's going up. Why is the price of goods going up? Because the Fed is printing a bunch of free money, right? So the value of your dollar is going down. So the price of gas has gone up. Everything has gone up. The price of gas is going up. The price of goods rose 9.1%. FX Gold. This is gold. It's gold. Sorry, I don't know if you can see it, but it's gold. I apologize if that wasn't clear. I apologize for that. This is gold. So the price of goods is going up, right? Everything is going up. And why is that? Because we're printing money like it's going out of style. So the price of goods is going up. And what happens when you raise corporate taxes? Does anybody know what happens when you raise corporate taxes? Like they're going to. What happens when you raise corporate taxes from 1% to 28%? Yo, Gaz, what's up, brother? What happens when you raise because corporations don't pay taxes, people. I'm sorry to break this news to everyone. Corporations don't pay taxes. What happens when corporate taxes go up? What do they do? What do they do? They raise their prices, right? It always falls down to the consumer. Corporations always raise their prices, right? So this is a big bubble right now that, I mean, you can see the stock market. Well, they move their business to non-tax havens, correct? But they also will do things such as raising their prices on goods, right? They're too smart for this. They're not going to just eat up those taxes. They're going to pass those tax hikes on to consumer. That's just what happens. You can, talk about all you want, but they'll raise their prices. If that happens, then gold is going to continue to go up. So I'm a huge believer still, and like you guys that have been with me for a long time know, I've been a huge believer in gold going up. And I think we're seeing that. So you can see in this account right here, I'm stacking long positions, right? And they're not big long positions, are they? They're small long positions because I'm planning to add to it if I have to. Okay? Does that make sense too? The reason I'm not in heavy on these positions is because I plan to add to the positions if it goes down. So I'm not going to put my whole wad or my whole position in at one level. I'm going to scale into the trades, and I'm going to wait for opportunities to buy lower. So you can see I'm small positions on these trades, but like I'll show you here in a second, those small positions actually can add up pretty quickly, can't they? Just doing something real quick, guys, and then I'm gonna show you how these small positions can actually add up fairly quickly. Let's get rid of a couple things here. Okay, small positions can add up extremely quickly. So watch this. Let's go view terminal. I'll move it down here because we don't need to have it that long. Look at those positions. I mean, again, it's small, right? It's small, but look at those top three positions. You're up 51, you're up 35, and you're up 61. So you're up $140 on 3 gold positions in an account that's $3,500. That's almost 5% or 4% just by trading small lot sizes, right? And I could close those out right now and almost be up 3.5%, 4%. So this is how I've been able to build a small account, is just by stacking positions. And I'm going to hold on to these positions for a long time. And if it goes lower, I will buy more. So this is how you build a $344 account on March 7th to a $3,500 account on April, whatever it is today, 15th. So it's been 5 weeks. Several different reasons. Like we just went over some of the fundamental reasons, right? Because of inflation, right, Sultan? Because of inflation, spending money like we're going out of style. Um, what the baby boomer generation here in the United States, the baby boomer generation is the generation that's retiring or have retired, right? The biggest generation. They're going to start taking their money out of the stock market and they're going to put it into safe havens, right? Does that make sense? You have this huge ton of people who are retiring and they're going to take their money out of the stock market, their 401ks or whatever, and they're going to put them in safe havens. Now, a lot of people, I argue with a lot of people and they're like, well, crypto is where it's going to be at. But a lot of these baby boomers that are in their 60s and 70s don't trust Bitcoin, don't trust crypto because it wasn't around, right? It's only been around for a small amount of time. So what are the safe havens for those people? Gold, silver, right? Those have been safe havens for not thousands, hundreds of years, right? And they're going to continue to be safe havens. Now, as the younger generation grows older, then the cryptos might end up overtaking that. But I don't think, and this is just my opinion, I don't think that the older generation, the ones that are retiring right now, trust that that's going to be a safe asset, if that makes sense. They're going to put their yeah, we can go over that, but so that's the reason why, as far as some of the fundamental reasons why I believe that's going to happen, right? So you guys can see that. I don't need to have the. Well, I like having it up here though, so people can see that I'm trading a live account, right? Live account with live trades. When I stream, I do that, which again is something that nobody else does when they stream. I've never understood that, but whatever. Do whatever you want. I just don't care anymore what they do. It's not important to me. Get rid of XRP for a minute. I want to keep an eye on it. So I guess I'll ask you the question too, Sultan. We're in a consolidation, like you said. What do currencies usually do once they go out of consolidation? Do they go in the direction it was going before consolidation, or do they usually go in the opposite direction? See, I like to make this interactive. I like to ask you guys questions so you learn something. After consolidation, what does the currency usually do? Does it usually go in the direction it was going before consolidation, or does it go in the opposite direction? I'm a believer in the majority of the time it goes in the direction it was going before consolidation. So where was it going before consolidation? Same direction, right? Usually it goes in the same direction, and it was going down before that, right? So now what we have to do is we have to find where is the next major level of support that we're at, because we're kind of at one right now, right? We're sitting at this one right now, and who knows if it'll go up or it'll go down from here, because again, all we're doing is we're trading probabilities. But okay, yeah, and we can get to that, Sultan. I'm just trying to paint a picture a little bit for you here. So right around 149.59 in that area is support that we've been kind of dancing around. If we break below that, then this area here at 148.50 is the next major support level, right? And we'll go over all that, Sultan, I promise you. But this level is from March, right? 23rd, while I was in Hawaii. I wish I was still in Hawaii. So if we break this level here that we're kind of dancing around right here, our next major support would be back down at 148.50. Does that make sense? So we kind of have to see how it reacts around this 149.59. But let's do this area. Does that make sense? Before I move on to the next part of how we want to analyze this, does that make sense to everybody? And then we're going to cover what you're talking about, Sultan, here in just a second. But does that make sense? What I'm saying? So now what I want to know is what is the trend on the 4-hour, and how I do it, again, is I draw that circle right there at the beginning of that chart, the 4-hour chart, and where it is now, and it's still an uptrend on the 4-hour chart. to me. Okay, because I draw that circle there, then I draw it there, and it's still an uptrend. We're talking about the GJ now. Talking about the GJ now, Tova, not gold. Sorry. Okay, so on the 4 hour, to me, it's still an uptrend. Okay. Hold on a second. Okay, does that make sense? Yeah. And on the daily, so I did the 4 hour. I still think the 4 hour is an uptrend. That's just me. That's how I do it. But to me, the daily is still an uptrend. The weekly is still an uptrend. The monthly is still an uptrend on GJ. So now, like you're saying, the 4 hour is rejecting. We are still in an uptrend, I believe, on the higher time frames. So we still want to look for dips to buy GJ, I believe. So now we've just got to look for those areas where we might get that so we can buy it again. And this area right here, obviously 149.50, 149.59 that we talked about, and then 148.50 would be your areas. Well, I do it a little bit differently, Sultan, so it might be a little bit different. I still consider it a higher time frame uptrend on all of them. And I say this before, Tova knows this, but I'm going to ask some of you guys that aren't in here very often. Do you guys know how rare it is to have all higher time frames from the 4 hour, the daily, the weekly, and the monthly all in the same direction? Do you know how rare that is? It's pretty rare, actually. It's extremely rare to have all those higher time frames be in the same direction. Hey, Mainland Media, how you doing? So until that pattern changes, we definitely want to be looking for dips to buy because all higher time frames are screaming uptrend, right? So unless that pattern changes, we want to be looking for areas to buy dips. Does that make sense to everybody? Is that pretty clear? As long as that pattern stays the same, the 4 hour, the daily, the weekly, and the monthly are all an uptrend, we want to look to trade with the trend, the higher time frame trend. So in order for the 4 hour, the daily, and the weekly, and the monthly trend to change, would it stand to reason then that the lower time frames have to change first? Like you're not going to get. Hold on. Well, let me just finish. You're trying to get me. You got me to GJ. Now you're wanting me to go back to gold. So let me just finish the GJ for a minute, Sultan, if you don't mind. So now we want to look for those areas to buy, and if we're going to get a trend reversal on the 4 hour, then naturally the 1 hour would turn before the 4 hour, right? The 1 hour chart would turn into a downtrend, and the 1 hour is a downtrend, but the 4 hour still hasn't flipped yet on GJ. So in order for, and then if you want the daily to trend change, then most likely you're going to get a trend change on the 4 hour first, right? Does that make sense? So the further you go up in the chart and then you go to a monthly chart, in order for the monthly chart trend to change, usually the weekly is going to change first, right? So until those patterns change, we definitely want to be looking for dips to buy the GJ. And you can see I have one position on right now, and I will probably add to it if I get a chance to do another one. Okay, so now you wanted to go back to gold. Let's go back to gold, and we are on the daily now. Back to the 1 hour chart. Get rid of some of these drawings. What time frame you enter for gold and stop loss? My entries are always based on the 1 hour time frame. I want to do that higher time frame analysis, right? I want to know what the higher time frame analysis is, but my entries are always going to be based off the 1 hour chart. You can do my entries, you can do them off the 4 hour chart, you can do them off the higher time frame charts. I just don't want to do it off a higher time frame. Yeah, they are. So I could trade it based off other things, but I usually do it based on the 1 hour chart. And I think you had sent me a message, Cezanne, about what you didn't necessarily see the patterns of where I entered these gold positions. And sometimes I do different trading than even just the pattern. So just so you know, and there are times when I take different trades, but you had multiple chances even with that tail longer than the body, right? You had that one there, you had that one there. If you just keep following up, did you have them anywhere in here? and I probably did this one closer to here, right? So I did it kind of based on the pattern, but I've been holding these. Let's see. Well, usually I don't. Usually I'm not around during Asian session. I just was a little bit bored, so I decided to pop on here. Usually I'm just a New York session guy. I don't usually stream during Asian session, but there some other people were, sometimes they'll cover it, and then just kind of wanted to do it because I got tired of listening to idiots in Asian streams. But I don't usually trade during Asia. I usually am pretty active during the New York session, and then London. London is in the middle of the night for me. So if I'm up, I'll trade London, but usually it's just between 9:30 in the morning Eastern time, and for 2 or 3 hours I'll focus on the charts. But I usually don't do anything during. But it doesn't mean I can't. If the setup I'm looking for is there, I don't care if it's Indian session. I don't care if it's whatever, yellow session, green session. I don't care what session it is. If the setup is there that I'm looking for, I'll take the trade. It doesn't matter to me what's going on. It doesn't matter to me what session's going on. It doesn't matter to me what's going on. Anything else other than I want to see my pattern. And if the pattern's there, I'm going to take the trade. That's all that matters to me. I could care less about anything else. Hopefully that makes sense too, because I don't care. It could be, yeah, I'm just trying to make the point that it doesn't matter to me what time frame it is or anything. So how can you be successful in trading? Yes, I always say that the day that you have the same emotional response to your winning trades as you do your losing trades, that'll be the day that you'll become consistent and you'll make money, if that makes sense. The day I became successful trading was when my winning trades, I had the same reaction to my winning trades as I had my losing trades. I'm an emotionless person when I'm trading. Okay, I'm a robot. I know what I'm looking for, and if I get what I'm looking for, I'm a robot. There's no emotions. There's no nothing. So I would say that the day you can get to a point where you're a robot and you have no emotions is the day you're going to be most successful. Does that make sense? Hopefully that makes sense, because the majority of the time people aren't successful trading because of emotions. It's not because they don't have proper chart reading or whatever it is. It's because they don't. They trade with emotions. So see on stream says I might start implementing the dip trading. It's a fun way to do it, and the reason it's fun is because let me go back to gold. I'm looking at XRP because I want to get in it again, but I want to make sure that it's at an area I want to get into it. And people always say to me, "Well, I can't believe you add to losing positions." And I'm like, "Yeah, I love adding to losing positions because that means I'm getting a better price to buy or sell. But I also plan for it before I get into the trade, and I want to make sure everyone understands that I can afford, if I wanted to enter this trade several more times on gold down lower, but I plan for it, right? I plan for that. So when I take my first position, for instance, this first position up here at 1745 or something, I plan for the possibility that it might go against me and it might go lower and it comes down to here. And I plan for the possibility it may come down to here. But as long as I'm planning for it, it really doesn't matter, does it? In fact, a lot of the times I'll root for my first position to go against me because then I get to add positions. Does that make sense to everybody? I want to make sure that makes sense too. Because if you plan for something, it really doesn't matter. But what are my options on this? What are my options on this trade now? Okay, I got all three of my positions in on this trade, right? Let's just go over here. I got here, I got a position here, and I got a position here. So what are my options on this trade now? I have lots of options, don't I? Because I'm in really, really good profit on all of them. What are my options right now? As a trader, what are my options? I'm a contrarian, absolutely. You know that. What are my options on this trade right now? Cezanne, Sultan, some of you guys that aren't in my group and in my training classes, what are my options as a trader right now? In the three positions I'm in right now. Are you living with Trading Boss? Don't mind, it will be motivation. What I don't know what I don't know what you're talking about. Yes, Justin. Well, that's what we're going to talk about right now. So what I'm asking you is, what are my options in these three trades right now, Justin? I'm in profit on all of them, right? My highest position is 1745. I'm in position. I'm in profit on all of them. What are my options as a trader? One option is to close all of them, right, and just take the profit. Another option is I could just close that highest position, put my stop losses at break even on my other two lower, right? I could take out two of them. There's so many different options. This bottom position I have at 1732. This bottom position I have at 1732. Jesus himself could come down here from heaven and tell me to get out of that position, and I wouldn't. Now what I can do is I can move my stop into profit, right? Yeah, I don't do that. Um, but again, like I said, Jesus himself could come down and tell me to get out of this bottom position, and I wouldn't. Okay. Now I can move the stop up. I can book some profit. Like you're saying, I can close out some, but I want to keep this position because what if it keeps going? Now none of them should become losing trades, right? Obviously, all of them are in really good profit, and so I could take out the highest position. Yeah, just move stop loss up as it climbs. But this is why I like doing it this way, because I have so many different options on how I could handle this trade. But I think that we're going back to the all-time highs on gold. And I think we're going to break the all-time highs. That's what I think. So I want to be in those positions if I can, right? I'm a firm believer that gold is going back to the all-time highs and even higher. Call me crazy, but there's just too many factors going on right now that tell me that there's a really good chance that we could go back and touch those all-time highs at 2070. And I want to be in that. I want to be in these trades if I can. Okay. I want to be in those. I believe there's a really good chance we go back there. Okay, so you're asking what price can we buy gold at the next team? And I'm going to ask you, because this stream we do our homework here. You don't just come in here and well, I'm not saying you. I'm saying where is your next support level, Sultan? We just went over this, right? Draw your support lines. Okay, so where's your next support level? If we let's go back to the 1 hour chart. Where's your next support level? Okay, maybe an area up here. 1757 maybe, right? I'm going to make a new line right there, maybe 1757. Is that your next support level from this area here? Right in here. So I would not want to buy gold again unless it pulled back to that support level. So when people ask me, well, what's the next area to do it? Well, just look at your support and resistance levels, right? What's the next major level to buy? Well, it would be that level right there. I wouldn't buy it, I don't think, unless it went down there. Now, if it breaks above, right? So I'm a person that I like to trade around support and resistance levels. So when people ask me, well, where can I get into gold? Just look at your support and resistance levels. 1757 is your next level. Does that make sense? Here it is again right here on the 4 hour chart. We broke this level at 1757. That was a major resistance level. It now becomes support. Right there. That now becomes your support, your near-term support. It was previous resistance, now support. So I would be looking to buy gold again around 1757 if it goes down there. I would not buy gold again unless it went down there. Okay, and then obviously we got to go to the next chart, the daily, to look for the 1757 area. And if we break the 1757 area, now we're back to talking about those levels we were just talking about up here at 1802 and 1785. Okay, now you're saying, okay, it broke 1757. That was a major level. Now where are the levels? Where are the levels above there? And the levels above there are this range, 1785 and 1802. It's not. It's a pretty clean range, right? There might be a little hiccup at 1785, but that is the daily. Okay, but it is a pretty clean range up to 1800. So you're right. So now we'd be looking, if we wanted to buy again, we would need a pullback to 1757, right? And we have enough of a break already. So we'd want to pull back to 1757, and then we can trade it up to 1784 and potentially up to 1800. And then if we get above 1800, then you have a really crazy area. If we break above 1800, then you're bringing these levels back into play on the daily. 1871, I mean, now you're starting to get a lot higher, right? So all you're doing when you're trading is you're moving your levels. You're saying, okay, this level broke. Where's my next level, right? And you're trading between those ranges. So it is a pretty clean. It does look like it's pretty clean up to 1800 if we break this cleanly, and I think we're going to get there. I really do. So what I don't want to do is I don't want to shoot myself in the foot and take all my positions out and miss that potential to get a really big move, right? Well, core sales or unemployment, it really doesn't. I think people spend too much time. People spend too much time on, well, the jobs report was good, so that must mean gold has to go down. There's no rhyme or reason for any of it, Sultan. So don't put too much stock into news announcements that usually only have an effect for a couple hours, and then currencies or whatever you're trading go back to doing what they were doing before the news. So I wouldn't put too much stock in, oh, the jobs report was good, so that must mean there's no correlation, I don't think anymore. Maybe there used to be, but in this day and market, there's no correlation. Just because the jobs report is good does not mean, you know what I mean? Hopefully that makes sense too. Sorry guys, I'm trying to do a few things here. It's not working out real well for me. I'm taking a look at XRP because I really want to get another XRP trade, but I want to wait till it drops a little bit and then gives me the signal. Tova knows what signal I'm looking for on XRP to go long again. So I wouldn't put too much stock in just because the news was good. That means that gold has to do something. Gold doesn't have to do anything. Gold doesn't have to follow some rule. It doesn't have to, you know what I mean? There's no rhyme or reason to really any of it these days, to be honest. There's no rhyme or reason to it. So, but technically, I could take out all of these trades and be up about 3 or 4% because this account that we've turned from $344 to $3,500, which is insane. That's really good returns. Technically, I could take out all those gold trades right now and be up almost 5%. I have no idea. I have no idea what wallet is good for Bitcoin because I'm not a crypto trader. I like XRP. I'm doing a little bit and I'm learning a little bit of, but I'm not a crypto person. That's not where I cut my teeth. I enjoy doing XRP and I enjoy doing some things, but I cut my teeth on Forex and futures. So I'm not a real good source to go to on crypto things, even though I like doing them. And I've traded Bitcoin and I've traded them. I'm not a I'm not a crypto person. I consider myself a pretty good expert on futures and Forex, but crypto is a whole nother ballgame and I'm learning it. But I don't know, what in the Middle East, what ones you can use. You just got to do the research. And you're right, a MAC AOB is correct too. Gold has no rules. So you have to, you have to look at what the charts are telling you because you're right, gold doesn't have a lot of rules, but in the long run, I still believe that gold is nothing but up. And I believe it is going to break the all-time highs again. My opinion. I like I said, I don't know. I could make a case. I can make a case for Bitcoin going down to zero again, and I think I can make a pretty logical case for it going down to zero again. And I can tell you why. The reasons I think it's possible. I mean, I can make a solid case based on factual evidence and data that says that Bitcoin could go to zero again. because first of all, the U.S. government is going to create their own digital currency, right? Um, you have Facebook that's still talking about creating their own digital currency, right? And I haven't given you guys this analysis for a long time, but Facebook has the power and the ability to tank Bitcoin anytime they want. Why would Facebook have the ability to do that? Facebook could tank Bitcoin, I believe, anytime it wanted to. I think they have the buying power, the selling power. They could just put a huge selling position in Bitcoin and it'd be done. And the reason they would do that is, oh, here, Bitcoin failed, but here's our digital currency that will replace it or something like that. I believe that regulation could put a big damper on it, right? Because it's not regulated here in the United States. There's several different factors that could really cause the cryptos not to do what people think. But I mean, for a long time, I said 20,000 wasn't, because people kept saying Bitcoin's going to 100,000, Bitcoin's going to 100,000. I kept saying, hey, it may do that, but let's deal in reality. Let's go look at Bitcoin. Actually, I said deal in reality because right now you have no historical data to prove to you that Bitcoin's going above 20,000, right? Now you do because it's gone above that. But for a long time, they kept saying it's going above 20,000. It's going above 20,000. I'm like, based on what? You have no data to support what you're saying. And now obviously it's done it. So now they can say, Clay, for a long time, I was right. There was no historical data that said Bitcoin was going to. I don't play video games. That's someone wanting my son to play. All right. So let's see here. There we go. So it looks like it made a high of 65,000. So yeah, I mean, it definitely could. I mean, you know, phew, it definitely could do it, but we'll see. I've never been a huge fan of it, but it's not to say it can't reach those highs. But I would be looking for dips. Wouldn't just buy and be those Bitcoin traders. I like to kind of tease the Bitcoin. I call them the perma bulls. In the end, they're winning, right? But they're not traders. They're just perma bulls that just buy, and they're winning now, right? If you held on to it during that dip, then you did really well. But I'm not sure. Like I said, I don't claim to be an expert on Bitcoin. I know the patterns that I teach the class. I know they work on Bitcoin. I know the patterns that I teach my students are insanely accurate even on crypto. But I don't claim to be a smart person when it comes to that kind of stuff. If you want to talk about Forex and futures, I think I'm probably one of the smarter people around, and that's just me saying that. I've been doing this for 17 years. I've been doing trading for a living for 17 years. So I do consider myself pretty knowledgeable on the stuff I'm knowledgeable about, but I'm not knowledgeable on crypto. It's like my brother-in-law that's building my office or my quote shed. I could go build the shed, but it would take me a lot more. It would take me a lot more time than just paying him to do it, right? I'd rather pay my brother-in-law $25 an hour to build my office/shed and go do things I'm good at, right? I'm not good at that stuff. I'm not good at anything with my hands. I can make money trading while he does that, but I'm not good at building or anything to do really with my hands. So I'll hire people that are good at that stuff, and I will do what I'm good at. Do I trade GJ? Yes. You can see that I'm in a GJ trade right now. You can see the terminal that I'm in a GJ trade and I'm down on it. And if I was going to swing trade GJ, I would that's quite interesting. I would be looking for, I'll get rid of this for now. If I were swing trading it, I wouldn't place my stop loss anywhere right now. I'd be looking for another area to buy it. Oh no, that's not GJ, that's Pound Aussie. Sorry. Gotta get the right chart up, guys. Sorry about that. I was like, wait a second, I'm not in the right area. But if I was looking to swing trade this, I would go down to my area. I wouldn't have this stop here, and I'm probably going to move that stop. In fact, I'm going to do it now. can I not do it? I'm going to move it down to like 140, I don't know, 148.60 for now. Because if I truly want to swing trade this, then I'm going to be looking for, okay, I'm going to move it down there right now, but I would be looking to add to that down at that 148.50 area, right? Because that would be your next major support level if we break this level that we're at right now. So if I was truly swing trading, I would add to a position on a buy at 148.50. So we're going to move it again, that stop loss on this one, because I will swing trade this one. Click this and we'll just probably just get rid of it for right now. And people are like, oh, you're not going to trade with a stop loss. I have a plan in place, right? It's still an uptrend. So I can afford to take that risk, and then I would look to add to a position down there where I circled it. But I wouldn't just do it because it went down there. I'd have to look for my pattern. So if I truly wanted to swing trade this, I would look for an opportunity to buy it. And then I would look for drop below there. Then I'd look for another area, which would be kind of right there at 147.37. I'd look to add another position there. Markets never go straight up and never go straight down, right? And here's the other thing that I love about doing it this way. If I get all of these positions, and Tova knows where I'm going with this, if I get this position that I'm at right now, that second position, and I get that third position, let's say this currency comes down all the way down to these levels here, and then starts coming up, do I have to have it go all the way back up to my first position in order to make money overall in the trade? Yes or no? If I get all three positions in and then it goes up to there, do I have to have it go? Do all three positions have to be in profit in order for me to make money overall on the trade? Yes or no? The answer is obviously no, right? I don't have to have all three positions in profit. Right. Maybe up in here, somewhere right in here, is where my profit overall is. And the reason I like doing it this way too is, and I'm gonna say this, and I'm not trying to despair anyone that trades differently. I'm not trying to make fun of anybody that trades differently. But the reason I don't like trading a 10 pip stop loss is because 10 pips is market noise. Does everyone know what that means? To me, 10 pips is market noise. Does everybody know what I mean by that? Does everybody know what I mean when I say, to me, 10 pips is market noise? Okay, it just is. You could have one little spike down, one little spike up, and you're out, right? You could have the direction right, you can have everything right, but you get one little market anomaly and you're done. You're stopped out and you're like, gosh, dang it, stopped me out. It went, my analysis was right, everything was right. It just took me out. Now it's going in the direction I want, right? Well, how have I solved? I've solved that by not placing all of my position in at one level, right? So now I'm just scaling into the trade, and I don't have to be as accurate, do I? I don't have to be as accurate. But it takes more patience, right? It takes a little more patience. But I definitely don't have to be as accurate. And I've been doing it this way for a long, long, long time. I say this all the time, and I will take Tova out of this because I have been trading while most traders today, their moms were still wiping their ass. They pooped in their pants. Control that, right? I've been trading longer than most. I mean, it's a goofy analogy, but most of these traders today in their 20s, I was trading while your mom was wiping your ass because you control your bowel movements because you were just a little kid and it's not your fault. But I've been trading for a long, long time. So I've been through every battle you can imagine. I've been through every market, a bear market, a bull market. I've been through every market. So I've been doing this for a long time. So I have an idea of what I'm looking for. And I've been trading this way for a long, long time. So I'm comfortable doing this way, but it's different for most people because it's just a different way of trading. You're used to that. You want that instant gratification right now. You want that in and out, because that's how society is today. We always want everything right now. We're not be patient. I'll sit on these trades for weeks if I have to. I tell the story last year, and I'm going to find that trade. I took a gold buy last year at 1795 and held it till 2053. Took a buy at 1795 and held it till 2053, till almost basically the high. This, I haven't actually been paying attention to this as much as I should be. Okay. I believe XRP is going back up to 3, by the way, just so you guys know. I'm looking for more areas to buy. But I took a gold trade and I held it for up to 1790, from 1795 to 2053. I've told my group this too. The other, I'll pull it up here actually. I want to pay attention to that, because if that 1 hour candle gives us a signal, we're going again. I'll tell you even ridiculous one though. Back the oil trade from last year. It's even more. I'll pull up the chart right now. I'm still kicking myself over this one trade. I had 30 contracts on $7 to $10 way down here last year when it bounced down there. I had 30 contracts. It's XRP USD, I think. I had 30 contracts going from like $11 to $8 on oil, and we knew that oil was never going to stay down there, right? Because you guys understand that there's countries that rely on oil for their economy to stay strong. Iran, Syria, Iraq, Saudi Arabia can't afford to have oil down at $7 a barrel very long. Their economies will crash. So they'll create the conditions in order to build oil back up. They'll bomb. I tell the story. We were in January of 2020. My wife and I were flying to Arizona for her grandpa's funeral, and that was the weekend that Iran fired some missiles at a U.S. base. They didn't hit it, but oil ended up gapping up that weekend $10 a barrel. So they'll create the conditions. The crappy part about this is I had 30 contracts. So can you imagine? Let's see, that's $3,000. That's $3,000 per dollar. Okay, $3,000 per dollar that oil went up. I made $3,000. So if it goes from $10 a barrel to $11 a barrel, would have been $3,000. I held it to 26, but I was paying $1,200 to $1,500 a week swap fees. So every dollar it went up, I was earning $3,000 on that trade. But I was also paying $1,500 a week in swap fees. So let's just say it's 52 weeks, right? It's been 52 weeks since I took that trade. So if you times 52 weeks times $1,500, that's a lot of swap fees, right? That's what I was paying a week swap fees. So 1,500 times 52 weeks. So I would have paid on that trade $78,000 in swap fees. And I'm killing myself right now because I would have been up, right? Every dollar it went up, I would have been up. So $78,000 in swap fees I would have paid just to hold that trade. But went up $53. So now times $3,000 for every dollar it goes up, and times 3,000 by 53. See what I mean? 53 times 3,000. 159,000. I'd be up on the trade without swap fees, $160,000, and I would have paid 78,000 in swap fees. I'd be up still, so minus 78,000. I'd be up 81,000 overall. But that's crazy that they were charging me swap fees up the a-hole on oil. So I didn't hold it, and I'm kicking myself because that would have been a really trade to hold on to for a long period of time. So XRP is called XRP USD, I think. And now we get the 1 hour. And so we want to see if we have any trades we can take on the 1 hour. See XRP here for a second. XRP is pretty dang close to having that candle, isn't it, Tova? Pretty dang close to having that 1 hour candle that has a tail body. So it's called, I think it's XRP SD on its way. So I might, here in a second, take another stab at XRP on this. I think I'm going to. So I'm going to enter a trade on XRP again to just do a small position here, because that 1 hour candle I do believe is that wick. It's long tail, long body. Let's look at the 4 hour. Still making higher lows. It's rejecting the lows. So I'm going to take a position here. Just let it play out for a little bit. But if I wanted to have my stop losses places where I should have it below 50. If I really want to swing trade this, have my stop losses below 150, or I would just let it play out. Now the only question I have, and I was trying to figure this out today, and some people can help me here. If it goes from 176 600, that's $60. So 76 to 175 would be $100, right? Yeah. So how much money would it take if if it goes from 175 to 174, that's $100. So how much money would it take in my account to just let this thing go to zero? If this thing went to zero, how much money would I lose in this trade if every time it moves down? So again, 176 to 175 would be $100. So to 170 would be $600. 60 would be $1,600, right? Like how low could this go? And yeah, this account obviously couldn't handle it. But in those oil trades, when I took those oil trades last year, even though I had 30 contracts on oil, I only would have lost like 20% of my account if it went down to zero. And we all know it wasn't going to zero. So even at that point, I knew that I would only lose 20% account if oil went flat to zero, which no, it's not going to. Now, again, on some places it was, it went below zero, but not in the futures market. In the futures market, it never did that. So I was prepared to buy oil all the way down to zero, and I only would have lost roughly about 20% of my account. Okay, now we are moving up on gold again, too. Okay, so starting to move up, and obviously that swing high that we had earlier was almost 1770, right? It was up right up here. So we're gonna, it looks like we might push back towards that level here. But it really doesn't matter to me because I'm in absorbent amount of profit right now for this account, a lot of profit. So at this point, gold could do whatever it wanted to because I'll have my stops at break even, or I'll put my stops in profit. And at that point, I just really forget about the trade, right? If I can move my stops on gold up, it really becomes a no-brainer trade, right? But for me, I wouldn't mind it going down lower and going below my 3 positions because I'd buy more. But if I wanted to, I could just place my stops right now in profit or at least break even. But I want to see if I can push this thing all the way back up. I mean, not push it, but see if I can stay in it till 1900, 1800, 1900. I want to see if I can hang on till then. So I'm not going to take any of these positions out. I'm probably not going to move stops on these positions, and I will add to it lower if I have to. I don't think it's going to go back all the way back down to where my other ones are at. It's going down there again, mile, but it could. If it does, that's fine. Let's start showing that so you guys can see the terminal up. Yeah, and so am I, right? And then I'm going to look for opportunities to buy it again. But the other thing that's cool about when I stream is you can see that that's a live account, right? Mac, Cezanne streams. You can see that this is a live account. There's no trading view here. There's no hiding behind anything. When I stream and I show a live account. And the whole purpose of streaming again was to show people how to build a small account. And I've taken this account from $344 to $3,500 in 5 weeks. But the whole purpose of this stream was not about raw money. It was about how to build a small account. That's what we've done. We've been able to do it. So that's why I hesitate to just yeah, anyway, I hesitate to do it anymore because I've shown you that you can do it. Okay, so Mac, again, we talked about this earlier, right? Talked about this earlier, Mac. Where is your support level? Right? Look for your support. In order to buy gold again, I would want it to dip, right? So where's your next major support level on gold? Right? Where's that next level on gold? You always want to look for buying at major support and resistance levels, right? So right now I wouldn't buy it, obviously, because it's in between two red levels. So in order to buy it again, I would need to have it come back down to that 1757 level. Does this make sense? Oh, I gotcha. I would have to have it come back to 1757, start rejecting 1757 to buy again. Does that make sense? So I'm going to draw that arrow. So yeah, so down there. So in order to buy it again, I would either have to have it come down there again and start rejecting, or it would have to break this level above 1770, pull back to 1770, and then buy. Does that make sense? So it either needs to retrace down to 1757 again, or it needs to break 1770, trace to 1770 again, and then I can buy. Does that make sense? But I don't want to buy right now. Does that make sense? Hold on. You have one position at 1734. Sweet, sweet. But yeah, I don't want to buy it again unless it comes down to those levels. And again, I could close it right now, and I would be 20. I'd be up 160 bucks right now if I closed it, which is almost 5% of the account balance, right? That's a pretty good gain. But I'm going for the gusto on this one. I want the big move. So I'm not going to move anything right now because I'm looking for the big time. Maybe maybe that'll be dumb. Maybe I should just do it. But I'm wanting to hold these trades for as long as possible. I want to see if I can get a move like I did last year on it. So we'll see. See if we do. No, we don't. That's fine too. But I'm a swing trader by nature. I love swing trading. I was never good at scalping. That's why I don't do it. And I know the things I'm good at. And I know the things I'm not good at. One of the things I'm not good at is scalping, so I don't try to scalp. I like to do things that I'm good at and let other people do things. I was never good at it. And I would rather get kicked in the balls, to be honest with you, than scalp trade. That's just me. That's my opinion. Other people can have opinions, and that's fine. Me personally, I'd rather have someone cut my balls off, trade off a 15-minute chart and have 10 pip stop loss. But other people do it and they make money off it, whatever. For me, no. You have to be so deadly accurate. Do it that way, I think, when you have such tight stop losses. Hey, buddy, how you doing? I prefer to do it this way because then I don't have to be as accurate. But if people make money off it, fine. My days of beefing are people, but I would rather myself get kicked in the balls or have my balls chopped off. Do it that way. You know what was nice about today? I took about 4 hours away from the charts. I was in all these trades except for that XRP trade that you see me in right now. I've been in all these trades all day, and I was able to just chill. How long I've been in these gold trades? I've been in 2 of these gold trades for 6 days. See that right there? I've been in this top gold position. I've been in this top position since 4/9. If you can see that, this second one since 4/9, and this other one since 4/12. So I've been in 2 of these gold positions for 6 days, and another gold position for 3 days. I don't care. And if GJ is going down, that's fine too, right? Like I said, I don't care if GJ goes down. I really don't, because I'm going to add to the position down. So actually, I think it'll be great if GJ goes down, because if it does, I will get an opportunity to add to it. And again, from my perspective, we're saying the GJ is going down, but it's moved like 5 to 7 pips, right? So to me, that's technically not really going down. But again, it's just a different perspective, right? People will be like, oh my gosh, GJ just made a huge move. And I'll go look at it and it went down 15 pips. I'm like, that's nothing. So it's all perspective, right? When you're used to trading a certain way, then a 15 pip move is a bigger move. But for me, 15 pips or 20 pips is just noise. And I have my plan in place, like we talked about. And if GA wants to go down and it wants to go down to 148.50, I'll add another buy at 148.50, right? So I'm perfectly okay if GJ wants to go down. If it just wants to go up and I make money on that one position, that's fine. But I have my plan in place. That's why I'm not worried about it. I'll go to bed tonight and not worry about that GJ position. I don't care, because I have my plan. My plan is if it goes down to 148.50, I will buy again. So I'll go to bed tonight, and people are going to think this is the craziest thing in the world. I'll go to bed tonight without a stop loss on GJ. I don't care. If it wants to go down lower, that's great. Perfect. I'll be able to buy more, because it's still a higher time frame uptrend, right? So I don't care. And if it wants to go up here and I can make money just with this first position, that's fine too. So I'm in a I don't care mode, because I know what my plan is. So like I said, a lot of the times I'll cheer for my first position to go against me so I can add to a position. I know people are like, that's so crazy. And maybe it is, but I know what I'm looking for and I know what my plan is. So to me, it's not crazy. To other people, it might be crazy, and that's just fine. That's just fine. Does that make sense to everybody? I do want to have a stop loss on XRP. So I'm going to look for my stop loss, and I think I do want it below that. That's a lot though. That is a lot. I think we're going to place it below here. I don't know if I want to go that low, but I do want to have it below 156. So I might have it at like 152. I think that'd be 240 bucks that I would lose if it's my stop loss. So I think on XRP, I would put my stop loss at 152. So just right click that there, modify, and then go to 152, because I'm not going to swing trade XRP, because it's pretty crazy, right? So 1.5200. I want to keep it below that red level that I have, that support level. I want to hide it just below there in case it wants to dip down there and then make its move back up from there. So I want to hide it from getting stopped there. And if it goes back down, that's fine. And then GJ is doing its thing, and so is the pound Aussie. So we'll see how that goes. But I'm fine with, like I said, fine with it going wherever it wants to go. Ron, how you doing, man? I keep grappling with whether or not I want to continue to do YouTube streams, because really I hate YouTube just in general, because I think they're a bunch of Nazis and how they censor people. I hate it. I'm a big believer in whether or not you agree with what people say, they have a right to say it. And I'm a conservative. America, I'm a Republican or a conservative, and they are censoring everybody on the Republican side. They're not censoring Democrats. They're just censoring conservative people in America, and I hate that. I hate that YouTube is literally just taking videos off because they don't agree with the viewpoint of the people. That's crazy. That's That's Russian style communism, and I hate it. So as soon as I can find a platform where I can stream live other than YouTube, I will be on that platform because I hate YouTube. I mean, you don't get to just who's deciding who, you know what I mean? Who's deciding that? Like, there's people in there that says, "Oh, we don't like this person." Like, whether or not you liked President Trump or not, he had an interview with his daughter-in-law a couple weeks ago, and they just wouldn't. They banned it. They didn't even like listen to see what he had to say. They just banned it. Yeah, I've heard Twitch before, so I'm actually waiting for Rumble. Is it Rumble? I think Rumble is what it is. I'm actually waiting because they're supposed to have live streaming ability. But we need a platform where they're not going to censor people and they're not going to censor free speech. I'm a big believer on whether or not I agree with the people. I'm a believer in your ability to say stuff, and that's why I usually don't kick people out of my streams because I believe in your right to say whatever you want. But there's been a few people that I've had to do that. OnlyFans, you can do that. I've heard of that maybe too. So I usually don't kick people out of my streams because they're entitled to say what they want. I'm a big believer in free speech, but there's been a few occasions where I have ended up kicking people out of my streams because I'm allergic to stupid. So there's been a few people that I've booted because I don't have any tolerance for stupid people. Like, you can come in here and try and tell me that I'm wrong, but you sure as heck better have facts to back that up, right? Like, have some data or be able to prove what you're saying based on data and facts and not just on emotions. And I can't stand it because most of them do. Yeah, I was gonna say OnlyFans. Yeah, that was good. I'm a big believer in, if you're gonna come in here, I'm not saying anyone here's doing it now, right now, but if you're gonna come in here and troll me or you better have your facts together because I'm gonna tear you apart. So I don't mind people coming after me, but you better have your facts straight. So I usually don't kick people out, but when some people come in here and just blatantly throw shit against the wall to see if it'll stick, I will boot people on occasion. I'm a big believer in facts. Facts don't care about your feelings, and in society today, we put too much stock in how things make people feel, and I could give a damn about that. I'm about truth and facts, and I want to live in a world where truth and facts win the day over how we feel emotionally. I mean, that's important, right? But truth still has to win, and unfortunately, these days it's not. Fortunately, these days, how something makes you feel is more important than truth and facts. That's scary. To me, that's scary. To other people, it's scary, but to me, that's absolutely scary. I just don't like that. So as soon as there's an alternative, and I'll check Twitch. I know my kids have that, um, but as soon as I have an alternative to stream on YouTube, I will be doing that because they are communists. So anyway, is there anything else we need to look at? Anything else that's sticking out to us? We had a really, let's go look at the pound Aussie just for a second because there was a really nice sell on the pound Aussie up here based on the pattern that my group looks for. And my group is just killing it, man. I'm so happy to go into the group chat and see people just killing it without me having to be there. It's so awesome. Yeah, Twitch probably ain't it. That's right. But see that candle right there? I'm going to circle. That was a great sell signal right at that high. And I know some of us took it, but that's the pattern I'm looking for. And it's been just a phenomenal trade. But it's so fun to go into my group chat and see those people just taking trades and me not having to be there because I've taught them how to catch the fish. So now they don't rely on me to do it. They can actually take the trades based on what I've taught them. And that's really cool. Yeah, this is GA. Yeah. It's really cool that my group they're independent. I could walk away today from the group and they would be just fine. They could trade just fine. Not why I'm not doing it, but they could. So I've taught them not only taught them how to fish, not just. So this would be the next level at 176 area down here that I would be looking at. on GA for another potential buy on the GA if I was wanting to swing trade GA. Ron H, do you follow me on Instagram or do you have Telegram? I guess I can just type. I'll type in the Telegram chat. Oh, I'm type in here my handle on Telegram. You can send me a private message. But I will tell you, Ron, before you get too excited, it is a paid service, and I will never apologize for that. It's cheap, but it is a paid service, and I will never apologize. My time's valuable to me. My dad, who's one of my heroes when it comes to business, said, time is your most valuable currency. You never get it back. So I do charge for my time, but it's not expensive. It's $199 for 6 months. So it's cheap. But you're going to learn how to read candlesticks. You're going to learn how to trade the proper way. And if you go into the chat, I can even show it to you. If you go into the group chat, the class chat, you can see people are just taking trades. They don't even need me to be there. And that, for me, it's more exciting when people are having success on their own than it is for me in my own trading, because I've done this a long time. But when people are just killing it in the markets and they're doing it because of the things, and maybe I had a slight reason why they're doing well, that to me is really cool. That maybe I had a slight, I played a role in them becoming successful. That to me is more exciting than when I actually make winning trades myself. Because I could walk away from trading today and just be fine, have enough money to survive, have enough money to do anything I wanted to do, and I'd just be fine. But this gets me excited when people are able to take those trades. And one of these guys in here turned a $500 account into $15,000 2 months. Just basic stuff, basic patterns. And like we talk about all the time, if you know you're going to be right 85% of the time based on a certain pattern, should there be any emotions in trading? If you know you're going to be right 85% of the time, should there be any emotions in trading? Yes or no? I mean, I know that Tova knows the answer. If you know you're going to be right 85% of the time, should there be any emotions in trading at all? Of course, the answer to that is no. At that point, if you know you're going to be right 85% of the time, you should be like a freaking robot, right? No emotions, no nothing. If you know you're going to be that accurate. So I tell my group all the time, because they're like, well, the pattern's there on this currency, should we take it? And I always say, well, what are the winning percentages? 85% usually. Well, then you really shouldn't have to ask that question, right? If you know you're going to be right that many times, do you really need to ask? You take the trade because the numbers say to take the trade. So for me, at that point, it's just a numbers game. The numbers tell me to get into the trade, I'm going to get into the trade. Does that make sense? So in my class, I'm teaching you how to read the candlesticks, because this analogy, I always use this analogy, and I love this analogy. There was a really influential trader that you guys all know, that back about a month ago said, when the GameStop stuff was going on, he said, this is why you stay away from the big boys. You take your little piece of the pie, but you avoid the big boys. And I'm thinking to myself, why not just get in the car with them and learn how to trade with them? Why avoid them? That's, to me, it was like, that's such small-minded thinking, right? Why not learn how to trade with them and get in the car with the big boys and trade with the big boys? And what I mean by big boys is people who move the market, right? People who move the market with their positions. So why not learn how to trade and look for the signs they leave and get in the car with them? And so that's what I try to teach my group, is to learn to read the signs that the professional people are leaving. And they do, they leave crumbs. They leave crumbs all over the place. And if you know how to read properly what they're trying to tell you, because each candle tells a story, you have to learn how to read what story the candles are trying to tell you. And my mentor, some of you guys know this, my mentor, who was a high school friend, buddy of mine, we've been buddies for years, he actually did sit down with the bank traders and did learn how they traded, and then he taught me, and that was 17 years ago. So they leave signs, and you have to learn how to read the signs that they're leaving you, because they leave them. And once you can do that, you can turn a $500 account like one of my students just did into 15,000. I just told you I learned how to trade from a buddy of mine up in Seattle, Washington, up in the United States. I learned how to trade from a good high school buddy of mine, actually two high school buddies of mine. My wife and I moved up to Seattle. I took a job up there, and while I was doing that, my buddy taught me how to trade. So I learned how to trade from him, and I've said this to my group many times, but to this day, he is probably the best chart analysis person I've ever come across. And I still believe that to this day that he is probably the best at chart analysis I've ever seen. And like I said, I've been through this game. I've been in it for a long time. I've gone to Forex conferences. I've talked to some of the best, and he is the best chart analysis person I've ever come across. And it's not even close. Like, I've been doing this for a long time, and he's still better. I am. I am. Well, for the most part, I would say I'm trading the same. I did trade a little bit different to start out, but for the most part, yes. But when I first started out, I actually would trade off the 15-minute chart. This is kind of funny. We're gonna wrap this up here pretty quick. But when I first started, I would trade off the 15-minute chart, and I would wait for overbought or oversold, and that's the only thing I would look for. And then I would sell or buy based off a 15-minute stochastic that was overbought or oversold. Then I would, yeah, it was pretty crazy way of trading, to be honest. So I started it that way, but then I got with my buddy, and he kind of pointed me in the right direction. I've been doing it like that ever since. But at the beginning, no, I didn't trade it off a 15-minute stochastic. And I look back on that now and I just laugh because it's just, I can't believe that I would believe that lagging indicators were that I would take trades solely based off lagging indicators. It was quite the education. Quite the education. So that's how I started. But for the most part now, I've been trading the same way for ions and ions. Like I said, probably longer than most people. You know, like I said earlier, their moms were wiping their ass when I started trading. So I've been doing this for a long time. And I really actually do want to take a US 30 trade right now too. I think we're going to at least pop back down to, I'm going to take one right here on the US 30 as well. And if I lose, that's fine. But I am going to take a position on the US 30. I'm going to have my stop losses above that swing high right there. I'm not going to have usually it's going to go up just now as I do that. So it's not fun, but I want to at least have it up there. So I'm going to do it at 34, probably 125. So we're going to have 34, 125 as the stop loss. It's about a 125 point stop loss. So I want to see if we respect this and just go down, at least down to that level there. So 34, 125. Okay, so it's up there. So we'll see. I lose on the trade, I lose on it, but I think we're going to push down at least to that 33,900 level right here. I think we at least push down to here, and if we're lucky, we could possibly push down into here. That would be pretty sweet. But I'm willing to take the 125 point risk at this point. But every time I try and do this on 30, it just kicks my butt right now. So, but I'm going to take it. So now you can see all the trades I'm in right now. Overall, I'm up 120 bucks on trades. I'm down in some, as you can see in the terminal. I'm up on some, which is fine. Yeah, I'm playing with house money right now. Just do something real quick too, just to make sure I don't private information. Then I'm going to show you guys something as well. So I want to make sure I'm not showing private information. Stream's going to go blank for a minute, but I want to just make sure I'm not showing personal information. Then I'm going to show you something if I. So let's go. Just want to make sure. Okay, yeah, I've made around $1,000 this week on this account, so it's not bad. So it's not a bad week so far. So yeah, it went blank for a second. Hey, Data Wolf, how you doing? So I've made about $1,000 on this account, but we started this account at $344 March 7th, and my goal this week was to get it to 4,000. See, I don't know if I'm going to get there because tomorrow's Friday, but if some of these trades can play out, then we will definitely get there. My goal was to get it to 4,000 this week. And then if we get to 4,000, then I'm going to pump up the lot size. Like for instance, on XRP, I'm trading just a, you'd call it a cent lot, right? But if we can get this up to 4,000, I probably am going to do I'm going to kick the volume up a little bit. XRP is moving up again too, so that's good. I want to do like a 10 contract XRP, because if it goes from like $2 to $3, that would be 10 grand. So I'm probably going to do it pretty quick. It would cost me $1,000. I'd risk $1,000 for hopefully 10, and I'm going to do that. It's coming. But I wanted to build this up to about 4,000 before I. So one of these times here, pretty quick, I'm gonna, instead of doing a 0.01 lot on an XRP trade, I'm gonna kick it to 10 contracts, and then if it goes from 180 to 190, that's 10 grand. And I'm willing to risk 1,000 for that. So that's coming probably next week if I can get this up to 4,000. So I guess root for it to. I'm doing well, buddy. How are you doing? I just didn't see anyone else streaming right now. Maybe they're streaming now, but I just didn't see anyone else streaming, so I thought I'd fill a gap. That US 30 just does not want to come down. So I just thought I'd fill a gap. I know people are coming on for Asian session looking for people that possibly could be streaming. It didn't look like Mac was streaming today. I looked. It didn't look like he was doing it today, so I'd be okay to do it. I don't like to do it when other people are doing it. Usually I'm doing it at around 9:30 Eastern. I don't really see anyone else doing it during that time, and I like that time. But if there's, there's a couple of people that I like to stream when they're streaming. 500 to 1, Ron. Working with 500 to 1 leverage. I don't like to stream if there are people that I like that are streaming at the same time, but there's a couple people that I like to stream if they're streaming. Like, you guys know who I'm talking about. Probably not, maybe not the person you think I'm thinking about, but if I'm up during the morning and there's a certain person that's streaming pre-New York and I feel the need to do it, then I will do it controller FX. I'm just going to say it because people need to learn not to follow that guy. So if he's streaming and I'm up in the morning, and sometimes I'll go against those guys because they, again, just go look at his trading nut challenge. Don't take my word for it. Go look at the trading nut challenge he just did with Cam, because he always says he's 85% accurate, but then you never see his terminal up. And people always say, well, they do it You know, they show their trades after on Instagram. Why don't they just show the MT4 terminal while they're trading like I'm doing right now? Right? Like, again, if you're so good at what you do, and you should be proud of that, you should want people to see that, right? But they don't. They hide behind TradingView. And I'm only talking about that stream right now, okay? But the one time that he had to trade and not hide behind TradingView in public, the Trading Nut Challenge, what happened? Anybody see that? What happened? The one time that he couldn't hide behind TradingView, what happened? Where he actually had to show in public how he trades and couldn't hide behind TradingView. What happened to him? Anybody know? Does anybody know what happened on that one? I mean, I could show you. It was a colossal disaster. So here it is right here. Look. Okay, I'm going to pull it up right here. Okay, so on this Trading Nut Challenge, you get 5 trades, right? 5 trades. You start the account at 10,000, and he ends the account at 97.75, so he lost 2.3%. So when he had to actually go on, not hide behind TradingView, show people that he knew how to trade, he lost 2.5% basically, because he couldn't hide behind TradingView. And don't take my word for it, just go watch it, right? When you can't hide behind TradingView, that's what happens. But we could do another one. Look, because I took the challenge, even though I'm kicked off of Trading Nuts platform now because I dared to question someone's trading knowledge, which is hilarious too. But I took the challenge. I also took the challenge, which is weird because he lost, what, 2.5%? So you guys won't be able to see it now because Trading Nut kicked me off because I dared to question someone's Forex knowledge. But I'm going to show you this here in a second, because that's a true test of whether or not you can trade, is when you can't hide behind TradingView, because TradingView is a joke to me. Okay, let's just do that right there. So we'll move this over. That's so weird. Who has number 4? Who has the number 4 spot right there? What does that say right there? What does that say right there? What does that say right there? So Trading Nut would be down here by Paul at minus 2.5%. And where's Clay? Where's Ironman Trading, or Clay Hall? That's me. I'm in 4th place there, and I had a net gain of 3.27. I also took that challenge, the same one that he did. I was 4th on the leaderboard till Cam decided to be the cancel culture and take me off. I actually took the challenge twice. Then the first time someone said I cheated, so I took it again and did it again, and got a better percentage the second time. So I'm just saying that, look at the results when these people who stream every day, look at the results. They have to trade in public. They have to trade without hiding behind TradingView. And it's not just him. Anyone that's traded that style that's gone on Trading Nut, it's been a colossal failure. Anybody that trades that style that he trades, that goes on to Trading Nut, it's been a colossal failure. I mean, Daniel Savage was one of the worst. You go watch Daniel Savage's Trading Nut Challenge. Awful. So again, when they have to show in person and they can't hide behind things, what happens? They get destroyed. Sorry. I'm sorry that hurts people's feelings. It's the truth. Okay. Don't take my word for it. I'm not trying to be an a-hole. I'm just saying that be careful who you follow, because when they have to show you based on, not being able to hide, they have to show you what they're doing, majority of them lose. I'm just trying to decide if I want to stay in this XRP right now, if I want to get out of it, just take decent. I just want to take, I'm just going to take it for now. I'm going to kick myself later, but I can always get back in it. Yes, Austin, Moneyball Austin, and he's the one. If I show you this again, he was the first one on the leaderboard, and Forex Ed, they definitely impressed me. So Austin, who I talk with all the time, Forex Ed, are the top two there. They're impressive. And on Instagram, if you look at my Instagram, let's see, there's Moneyball right there. This guy right here is a really good dude, and he was the top of the leader. So Moneyball Austin on Instagram, he is a really good trader. We chatted, as you can see, I had a video chat just today. But and I think Forex Ed is pretty impressive too. But point is that when these people that hide behind TradingView have to show that they can trade live in person, they can't. Yeah, so for instance, the NYSE session starts at 9:30 Eastern, right? Data Wolf. So in between that 9 a.m. Eastern and that 10 a.m. Eastern, usually I won't trade the US 30, or I won't get into new trades, right? I like to let it kind of, I don't know what's the word, I like to let it kind of do its thing for a minute and then I'll trade. So yeah, during that 1 hour, I don't like to take trades, but generally the currency will go back in the direction it was going before that. Hold on a second, guys. Yeah, so win rate, Jesus, 80% win rate. So yeah, I try and do that. But again, and we'll wrap this up here pretty quick. I was asking the question, Data Wolf, when you weren't. I asked the question, but I know that my pattern is going to be right 85% of the time. I'll ask Data Wolf because should there be any emotions in trading? If you know your pattern is right 85% of the time, 85% of the time you're gonna make money. There shouldn't be any emotions, right? You should be at that point. You should just be a robot. You get the pattern. You take the trade based on the pattern. There should be no emotions in trading at all. If you know you're going to be right 85% of the time, there should never ever be emotions in trading. That's what I try to get my group to be, is emotionless. Try to get them to a point where they're just robots. But if you know that over the long run too, because there's weeks when it may not be 85, but over the long run, you know you're going to be right 85% of the time. There should be no emotions. You shouldn't have to, well, should I get into this? Should I do this? No, if the pattern's there, you take it, right? If the pattern's there and it sets up, you take the trade because the numbers dictate that you do, right? The numbers dictate that you take the trade. So I would say, because sometimes they'll be like, oh, it looks like we have the pattern on it. Should we take the trade? Like, what did the numbers tell you? Hey, Rod, what's up, brother? Numbers tell you to take it. So I'm a big believer in numbers. So I'm emotionless. And that's why I've been able to turn a $344 account while I streamed into 3,500. That's why one of my students has turned a $500 account into a $15,000. Yeah, and if you put controller FX on the leader, be right there by Paul at minus 2.5%. But that's why one of my students has been able to turn a $500 account into 15,000, because the patterns work. They just do. XRP better not start going up again without me. Okay, it's coming down right now, and that's what I want for right now on XRP, so I can get back in. We know the pattern is going to be extremely accurate, so we're going to wait for the patterns. I mean, you know, and not everyone does that, but being able to turn a $500 account into 15,000 in 2 months is extremely impressive. That's disgustingly impressive. So, I mean, I've turned this one almost into 4,000 from 300, but that's not 500, 15,000. That's on the US 30. Yes, it is. The US 30, I think, is that the one you're talking about? US 30 trade. You're talking about the US 30 trade. It would be counter trend. Yes. The US 30 trade that I took, I'm just making a play off that I think that is the high, that in order for it to go higher, we are going to have to push down lower, if that makes sense. So I think that we're going to have to push down to go higher, because you had several hours, if you look at this, you had several hours where it tried to push above, right? Several of those 1 hour candles just kind of sit there, and it's not able to go above that. So if you were in Raj's stream or you're in other people's stream, what do they call that? A liquidity grab, right? So most likely it's going to come down, grab some more orders for another up. So I'm just playing that, saying that there's a fairly decent chance that in order for that to go up, it's going to have to come down first, if that makes sense. Does that make sense, Ron? So because it didn't do that over several hours, right? Most likely we're going to have to make a move down, and maybe we don't, and I lose, and that's okay. But generally, if it doesn't push that high, it's going to come down first and then go back up. And so I'm just making a play off that. But it is definitely counter trend. And the US 30 has just been insane, so it's probably dumb, to be honest with you. Probably was really dumb, because I'm literally trying to put myself in front of a train. It doesn't make a whole hell of a lot of sense probably right now, but I believe that's going to be the high until we push down a little bit. So we'll see, right? I'm risking 125 bucks, which is fine, but I'm also looking for 200 to 300 if I get it right. So the risk to reward is there. So let's play it and play the numbers. Is there any other questions, guys? I'll go back to my normal stream tomorrow at around 9:45 Eastern time. Actually, 10:45 Eastern time. Excuse me. And do it again. But I'm just going to say this again. I probably am the only person. I probably am the only person that streams on a semi-consistent basis that will show you the MT4 platform while I'm streaming. It's a live account. I'm showing you the T4 platform while I stream. I'm probably one of the only ones that streams that does that. I don't think there's anyone else that does, to be honest. And if there is, tell me. But I don't think there's anyone else that will show you the actual platform, MT4, because all of them usually just do trading view, right? But I don't think any of them are. Am I doing a London stream? I should. I really, to be honest with you, A-Rod, I really like listening to that Luke guy. I don't know how you feel about that. I don't know how you feel about Luke, but I really enjoy listening to Luke. London streams are in the middle of the night for me. And I like Luke. So I like listening to what Luke has to say. So I don't tend to do one. Maybe every now and again if I'm up, because I can't sleep, maybe I would pop on and do one. But there's plenty of people doing it during London. If you look, type in live streaming during London, there's a ton of people that do it. And really there isn't anybody that does it after, like at the time I do it, 10:45 Eastern time. There's really not that many people do it. So would I ever do it? Maybe. I really just don't want to get up on that time, be committed to that. I don't even want to be committed to the one in the morning. I don't like being tied down. So I like to do it if I feel like doing it, but I don't like to feel like I have to do it every day, and that's what I would have to do if I wanted to be consistent. Forex Nelson does. Okay, cool. And that's cool. That, and I think more people should do that. Data Wolf. I think that because they'll say, well, they show it after on Instagram. They do this, but again, if and I'm not trying to knock anybody. I'm days of me going after people are done. But if you're so good at what you do, I think you would be proud of that, right? Does that make sense? Like if you're really good, as good as you say you are, you would think you would want to show your MT4 platform while you trade. And I'm not saying they're not. I'm not saying anything other than that. I would just think that if you were as good as you thought you were, you'd be proud of that and you would show it. So the question, I question a little bit why, if they're as good as they say they are, why don't they just show it? Because there's no law against it. And a lot of people will say, well, there's a law against it. There's no law that says you can't show a live account. Sorry, there's no law. As long as you're not giving them financial advice and you're saying this is what I'm doing. I'm not asking people to follow me. I'm not giving you financial advice. There's no law against showing a live account on your stream. People always say, well, you can't do that. There's a law. There's no law. Okay? Anybody that tells you that is lying to you. There's no law. It's just an excuse to continue to hide behind TradingView. That's all it is. There is no law, no nothing. Sorry that hurts people's feelings. Sorry that rattles their cages, but you will never find a law that says you can't show a live account on YouTube, ever. Sorry. Sucks that sometimes people's lies they are just lies because there's no law that says you can't do that. All right, guys, maybe we'll wait here for another 9 minutes, see if we get the pattern that we're looking for in any of these currencies. So we'll wait here for another 9 minutes. Then I've got to spend some time with the family. Then you'll have family outside the door, maybe. Have to answer it. There's this thing called you can those arm things where you can see who's knocking at your to answer. There's a ways around that too, I guess. Right? You can see who's coming to your house. So the thing for me is I'm not going to have any of my family come knocking at the door when I'm making really good money because my family all makes really good money. My older brother hangs around with President Obama. He's a big wig in the Democratic Party. So my older brother makes a crap load of money. My younger brother's an attorney. My sister's husband owns an oil company. So no one I probably make the least amount of money. Family and I make really, but they're all really successful. So I don't think I'm going to have any of my family members knocking at my door. No, it doesn't. I think of it as an opportunity. Like if I'm in a trade, right, and high impact news comes and gets me, I end up being down on. I look at it as everything as an opportunity, not as something that's to be scared of. I look at it as an opportunity. But yeah, all my family is really successful. My dad's really successful. My dad's a multi-million. So I don't think I'll ever have to worry about my family member coming to my house. Maybe. Yeah, my dad has a private jet. My dad has all that crap. So I think I have to worry about my family members. Hey, Rod, you know my strategy, man. You know my strategy. You see my strategy? You know what we're looking at. Been in there. Come on, bro. I made you a mod, dude. But it's the other thing is I just did a a free trial for 2 weeks of my signals, right? I'll tell you guys a story and you'll laugh at it, but I just did a 2 week free trial of my signals. We went 13 for 15 on signals. I think there was like 50 or 60 people that signed up for the free trial, and one person signed up to pay for the signals after the 2-week free trial. One person out of 60 or so, and we went 13 for 15. I killed it. And so at this point, I'm just not gonna. I'll do these streams and I'll have fun and everything, but people want my knowledge. They're gonna pony up at this point. I literally just got done doing a 2-week free trial of the signals where we won 13 out of 15 trades. 60 people signed up for the trial. One person signed up afterwards. So it's just like, what? Yeah, whatever. We can see it. You can see, like, you can't see my challenge, but you can see the video. Yeah, you can see the video. It's still up there, right? But I'm still, that still ticks me off that he kicked me off of there because I dared to question someone's knowledge, so he kicked me off his platforms. That still pisses me off. But you can't see it. Everything but my, which is weird because everything but my challenge is still on his page. So he'll keep my videos up there, right? Like this video of me talking about strategy, he'll keep that up there because it's getting him hits and everything. But he won't have my trading challenge where I smoked it. Trading challenge, he takes that off, right? But he'll keep this on there. If you're going to keep that on there and you're going to keep my interview, you should probably keep the challenge up there too. I don't like the fact that he's still, I don't say profiting off these videos, but I don't like the fact that he still gets to keep these on here, but then he doesn't have that on there. Doesn't seem cool. Yeah, that's Clay. Well, that's my name, Clayton. Clayton Hall. So that is my name. Technically, Iron Man. It's Clay. So yeah, but it's weird that he would take the challenge off there, but he wouldn't. He would leave the other video stuff on there. To me, it's still. So whenever you see a leaderboard, just remember it's not a true leaderboard. I'm still on the leaderboard. It took me off because I challenged someone's market knowledge. Like that. So he said, done. Yes, he did. He did. You're right. He did. Well, I think it was a 500-point stop loss because I would. Yeah, well, Controller FX lost 2.5% in his challenge, and I made 3.5%. So you can see there was a 5% difference between me and him. But yeah, he did introduce the 500-point stop loss because of me, because I was trading off the daily chart. I was having big stop losses, and what people didn't understand is if you're trading off a daily chart and I have a 500-point stop loss, but I have a 1,500-point take profit, it's still 3-to-1 risk reward, right? Or 1-to-3. It's no different than having a 5-pip stop loss and a 15-pip take profit. It's still the same concept. It's still 3-to-1 or 1-to-3, whatever you want to say. It's just you're trading off of a higher time frame and you're going to have deeper stops. But people said you're cheating. All you're doing is you're setting your stops really low. Nowhere it ended up going. So I took the challenge, and then he said, well, and I was on the leader. I was on top of the leader. But people were complaining. So then I came back and did it again, the new rules, and I had the same result. So it didn't change anything. It was still based off my pattern that I trade. I was just trading it off the daily chart instead of an hourly chart. I was having deeper stop losses. But I would like to have those videos. I mean, whether or not he wants to kick me off his platform or he wants to do that is fine, but he should at least give me a copy of that video so I could have it. You know, I think that would be fair. So it looks like we might have the pattern on the GJ here coming up in 2 minutes. And if we do, I think I'll end up taking another trade on the GJ. I mean, I think that would be fair for me to at least be able to have a copy of that video. Okay, so looks like it's pretty close. We do have the tail. It looks like that's longer than the body on the GJ. Still have a couple minutes left, so let's see, because I get caught sometimes. Jump in it a little quick. Yeah, man. You have a good one too. So I'm gonna take another trade on the GJ. order. Okay, do that. And I'm gonna have a stop loss on this one at 149.30. I want to keep it below that red level at 149.53. So many trades right now. Stop loss 149.30. I think that'll be it for tonight, guys. But I'm gonna take that trade because the numbers tell me to take it for other reason. But I will keep the stops on this one pretty tight. So there you go. The pattern says to do it, I do it. Not it works out is okay. All right, guys. That's it for tonight. I wasn't planning on doing this today, but I did. 2 hours almost, so I'm gonna get out of here. All right, so everybody have a wonderful day, and it's like we'll see you guys at 10:45 Eastern tomorrow for another YouTube stream. All right, we'll talk to you guys later.